Hello and welcome to Full Throttle. With me today via telephone, I have Dick Burning. How are you doing today, Dick?
We're doing very well. Good to be with you.
So, Dick, for starters, give me your opinion on the Daytona 500 and what you thought of it.
Well, I have two different approaches to that. Number one is I had a favorite that I wanted to see win the race. I like guys from New England, and that's the guys I cheer for in those big races. And Joey Logano almost won it. He was in the middle of that big crash on the last lap and managed to finish third. Ryan Preece is another who could have, should have won it. Ran up, gosh, he almost won his qualifying race on Thursday night, and he looked good on Sunday as well. But he finished deep in the field. Things just didn't work out for him, which is the nature of the beast. I mean, Daytona 500, so many cars, so much energy goes into trying to do it. By far the biggest race of the year. That winning that race can make the career of any big time driver. I enjoyed the race. I thought it was a very well run event, all the way from the pre-race stuff that the network did, and the event itself. And of course, anytime you've got Mike Joy as the anchor to the broadcast, you've got something that's really, really special. So I thought the race was good. There were a lot of position changes toward the end when everybody got into the fuel saving mode. That wasn't so good, but that's okay. What followed it was terrific and made up for the fact that we had a lot of side-by-side racing, too wide for the entire length of the field that was in competition for the race win.
So, Dick, talk to me about your time with Fox Sports. What do you remember about those days? And now you're writing with the Speedway Illustrated, which you are the founder of. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let's start out first with Fox TV. Um, I was very fortunate to have been hired by Fox when they came to NASCAR. Fox had never done a race until the 2001 Daytona 500. That was the first race that they broadcast. What a way to start at the biggest race of the year. And it was a dramatic race, certainly, but sadly, it was an unfortunate race in that Dale Earnhardt lost his life in a crash in turn four on the very last lap. Uh, we, I just everybody was in some, it was just awful, awful. But you saw what the fans thought of Dale and thought of the way he handled himself during the practice of the laps of this year's Daytona 500, which just everybody had their hand up in the air with three fingers honoring Dale Earnhardt. I think Fox does a good job, in fact, a great job covering the races. And I think NASCAR racing in general, the big league and the truck series and the second division, I think they're all very good racing. I enjoy them. And I really had a good time with Fox Television. Mike Joy and I have been good friends for a very long time, but I made a lot of friends with a lot of other people who were there. Pam Miller, who was my producer, and Matt Yoakum, who we worked with side by side on pit road. It was a wonderful experience. I mean, you get a chance to stand in pit road and you get to tell the whole world what's about to happen and why a car is going faster or why a car is going slower. For somebody who's a race fan, which I am, it's a wonderful opportunity. I'm proud of my years with Fox Television.
Yeah. So talk to me about why you started Speedway Illustrated and
The reason we started Speedway Illustrated was that the whole bunch of us were working for Stock Car Racing Magazine and Open Wheel Magazine, and everything was going just great. We were making a lot of money. The magazines had massive circulation, and everything was just fine. But unfortunately, it was bait for the Peterson Publishing Company, which is at the time was in the process of selling itself when they swooped in and they bought our magazines. And when they bought our magazines, they made it very clear that we were not welcome at their company. They wanted their own people to run them. So after building the magazines for so long, I mean, I had been the editor of Stock Car Magazine for over 20 years when that happened. It was a tough blow. I mean, you get fired when you're right at the top of your game. So we said, if a business is really just all about the people that run it, we're in good shape because we had everybody. We had writers, we had photographers, we had layout artists, we had advertising salespeople, we had people who could handle the office. Everything was in place. And so we went out looking for somebody who would fund the startup of a brand new auto racing magazine, and we found that in a company called Down East Magazine, a local, very local magazine that covered life in Maine. And they saw what we saw, which was a group of people that were very hungry to prove themselves once again. And they financed the startup. It was millions of dollars. So the Speedway Illustrated magazine was born. And as time has gone on, it's been almost 20 years since Speedway was born. And during that period of time, all of the other monthly auto racing magazines in America have failed. They've all gone out of business. So the only auto racing magazine that's published on a monthly schedule is Speedway Illustrated magazine. And I'm very pleased to still participate in it. I spend a lot of time with Carl Fredrickson, who's the current owner. We talk about what stories should be in the magazine. From time to time, I write them. From time to time, some of my pictures get published. And it's a joy to see that thing still going.
Well, so talk to me about your relationship with Mike Joy. I mean, that guy is an icon in the sport. Just covered the Daytona 500 again.
Yeah, for the 37th time. Nobody has covered the Daytona 500 for television and radio more than Mike Joy. And people listen to him and they realize how good he is and how interesting his commentary is. But I'm going to tell you a couple things about Mike Joy most people don't know. And one is both he and his son Scott race vintage race cars, and they are very, very good at it. Both of them have won major vintage racing feature events. And a lot of people don't realize that. Mike he's a fine driver. I've ridden motorcycles with him on the road, and he's an excellent rider. He's an excellent race car driver. He's an excellent driver of just regular cars. He's a very special person. Early on, when his career was just starting and mine was just starting, we worked together side by side in the announce booth at Thompson Speedway in Connecticut, announcing the super modified races, which were held every Sunday night during the summertime. So that's where Mike and I really came together, was at those Thompson super modified races.
Wow. So talk to me real quick about your relationship with some of the other Fox reporters who you're close to these days, like Larry McReynolds. Larry's been on my show once before, and we had a great conversation about what it takes to put on a program and everything like that. So just talk to me real quick about Larry McReynolds.
Larry McReynolds is one of the hardest working television announcers in motor racing. He is among the very first people to arrive. You'll see him in the garage all the time, asking questions, looking at the cars, trying to figure out what somebody is doing to gain an advantage to try to win the race. And he's very smart. I mean, his ability to track fuel mileage, his ability to see what people are doing in the pits in order to pick up positions during pit stops, second to none. And he's been around for so long. Let me tell you, television auto racing coverage is very difficult to stay employed in. You can have a wonderful job one year and somebody decides, well, maybe somebody else can do it better, and they let you go. Larry has survived that year after year after year. When you look at the people who were on board with the very first of the Fox races, Larry McReynolds and Mike Joy are still there and still doing a wonderful job.
So, what do you look forward to covering in the sport of auto racing this year. Daytona 500 gets all over. I know you were busy, so that's why this interview is taking place after Daytona. So, what do you look forward to as we move down the road?
What I look forward to is going to some of the local level races. I live in Massachusetts, so I live very near where the Whelen Modified Tour runs, and I'll tell you what, those modifieds, those low slung cars with just absolutely no frills on them, are driven by people that have a lot of courage and a lot of skill. I love going to those races in Stafford Springs and Thompson, Connecticut, and some other places that are not far from my home. Will run the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. I also like the sprint cars, especially on dirt. So I'll go see some more of that. When they ran here in the Daytona area during speed weeks, I was there, and that's just, if you haven't seen sprint cars on dirt, that's something that's worth watching, and I'll be there watching some of that.
Yeah. So, so who do you think is going to do well this season with NASCAR? I know we're only one race in, and this is the final question I'll ask you, but uh I know we're only one race in, and I just wonder who Dick thinks will do well under the new case format.
Joey Logano, watching what he did in that Daytona 500, picking his lane, knowing which cars to go with, knowing where he had to be, trying a pit strategy was different from anybody else. That's the kind of stuff that leads significant results. I look forward to Ryan Preece winning his first point-paying race in NASCAR's big league, and I just think it's going to be a good year. I really do. We've got some young kids there that are very strong. I think we're going to have a banner year in NASCAR's big league. I think that a lot of the local stuff is going to be fun to watch too.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Full Follow. Thank you for joining me, Dick, via telephone, and we will see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.